One of Hollywood's most successful film directors is at the center of a new exhibit at OMSI.
Yeah, visitors can learn all about underwater exploration and see some really iconic movie props. Joe is live to tell us more about Challenging the Deep. Joe, this just seems like the coolest display.
It's pretty fascinating, Shauna, because it really is a mix of actual science with Hollywood magic. We're going to talk more about the science side of things. So this is called, again, Challenging the Deep, and it's the work of James Cameron, who directed Titanic, Avatar, these huge movies, but Jen Powers with OMSI. He's also a big-time underwater explorer. Like, he actually literally traveled to the deepest spot that you have anywhere on Earth, right?
Absolutely. In this submersible, so we have prototypes of the submersible that he designed, the Deep Sea Challenger, and it went about 7 miles.
7 miles deep
to the lowest part of the ocean that humans know about.
And it's not like this is something that is done often. He was, I think, the 3rd human being ever to do that.
Yeah, you know, 2 folks went down in the 60s in a very different looking submersible. But yeah, he did a solo trip.
The first person to do a solo trip. And he actually, he's a pretty fascinating guy. He actually had design ideas himself. It wasn't like somebody just did all of the work and then he just showed up.
No.
He actually had design ideas for what this vessel should look like.
He definitely designed it, and we have his original sketches here. And something I love is that he based some of his designs of his vertical submersible on a fish. So.
And actually this video right here shows him kind of going over that plan with people, and as they built it and tested it out and took it to different depths. And you see right there in this picture, it was built kind of vertically, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't, you think a submarine is kind of like this oblong thing, but it was kind of built upwards.
Yeah, definitely, and based on a fish that swims like that as well.
And then, so essentially it would have, because he was the only person in this thing, it had this sphere in the middle, and they've got a little kind of replica of that. So I'm going to crawl inside here. First of all, why a sphere? Why did he need a sphere for this?
So the sphere is the best known shape that is going to survive all of that pressure, right?
Yeah.
The more you dive deep and deep and deep into the ocean, the more pressure is being put on you, and the sphere is going to withstand that.
Because again, you're 7 miles down, so the pressure, if you're not in this thing, you're flat like a pancake.
Absolutely.
Essentially. And then, so obviously very close quarters. So how long was he in this thing as he traveled to the bottom of the sea?
About 7 hours.
7 hours just in here.
Oh yeah, and you got to imagine that there's computers and scientific equipment all around you.
And not a lot of sunlight at the bottom of the ocean, I'm guessing, when you're 7 miles down.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's pretty cold out there. Not that he was in the water, but it still got to be, I believe, really cold at the bottom.
Yeah.
And
near freezing.
Yeah.
And as you traveled from down all the way down those 7 miles, he actually had to put on warmer and warmer clothing, because obviously at the surface it's a lot warmer than when you're at the bottom.
It is pretty fascinating. The guy that directed these huge movies was only the 3rd person to actually get to the lowest point in the planet there. Guys, a little perspective, you could actually fit Mount Everest in the Marianas Trench and still have plenty of room to go. Like, that's how deep he went. And you can learn all about this at this new exhibit, Challenging the Deep, which is now open here at OMSI. It runs through the middle of September, so we'll have plenty of time to check that out, and we'll have more information about that at KPTV.com. All right, we've talked about the science side of things. Guys, we're going to talk about the movie side of things. We're talking Titanic coming up from OMSI in just a bit. Let's send it back to you in the studio.